Yesterday I mentioned that after Jaws, I still can't go for a swim without hearing those cellos, and I'm sure that's the same for most of us. And that was 40 years ago. And A Clockwork Orange destroyed my ability to have sexual relations from the age of 14 until today, really. So a single cinema experience can stay with you forever. By depriving you of other distractions, cinema heightens your emotional engagement and recall. With 3D, cinema doesn't just get into your head, as I said yesterday, you can actually see it and feel it going in. If you can harness the mind-altering experience of 3D cinema, your brand increases its chances of being talked about and becoming a social media phenomenon. So, for example, why run an ad for Kakadu when you can actually be there for a few minutes? 3D cinema literally creates another dimension, as you can see. It's enchanting, and if you're an adult, it delights you into favouring a brand. But if your target is children, it literally transports them to a place of wonder, and they become embedded in the experience, and the experience becomes embedded in them.
I think what Rob was saying, was fantastic. How he was saying it was clearly brilliant. The question I have, though, is around why he's saying it. And I think as head of one of the country's biggest creative agencies, here extolling the virtues of cinema and 3D cinema and that sort of thing, which is possibly the highest production costs of any medium in the world, I think really does put into question perhaps its credibility.
The big issue for me, though, always with cinema advertising is it runs, is anyone watching? How can you ensure the engagement? I mean, you can deliver great creative. Should we be out of the ad break and in the content? You make a show like Transformers. Do we need to actually be there to really get the value out of 3D? And is cinema as a media going to be with us that much longer, or is it going to be embedded in the home?
I was here yesterday, Rob, and I thought you were doing a typical sort of creatives job, if you like, on the task in hand by concentrating on the pictures, and not really what I thought was the question, which is the commercial strength, if you like, of cinema. I think you did a fabulous job yesterday of selling cinema as an entertainment and something we can do with 2 hours of our time. But I wasn't getting so why is this a better choice for brands, and how is this really going to sort of drive the commercial agenda? But I got to say, I think the criticism or observation I had from yesterday, you removed in one fell swoop today, because you set the scene with the cinema experience again.
Now, my presentation is called Sex Sells. It's very similar to the one I did yesterday. However, what I thought I'd do is take it a step further, because some of the feedback I got yesterday was that I kind of set it up and everyone got so excited, and then I let it down by showing some direct mail pieces. So the first thing I thought I'd do was just was sort of provide a little bit of an analogy between cinema and direct mail. And I guess, and forgive me for to the females in this room, but if you imagine cinema being a pair of breasts, a pair of breasts on a topless female in a topless bar. You can appreciate it, they might look beautiful, but what you see is what you get. However, direct mail is a bit more like the cleavage of your wonderful partner, insofar as there's more to discover. The more you engage with it, the more you discover and the more you begin to enjoy it. So on to the presentation. Okay, if sex sells, then mail must deliver the ultimate experience, because it's the only media channel that appeals to all five senses. And that's it, folks. The rest is all about direct mail pieces. This was a challenge to bring the Get Some Australian in You attitude to life in direct marketing. The idea, a pack was mailed out from a firm of solicitors, informing the recipient that he could be in line for an inheritance from a possible Aussie ancestor. The prize, a year's supply of Fosters. All he had to do was to go to a website and do a simple test to see if he indeed had any Australian in him. The pack contained a letter from solicitors, a letter from Bruce Foster, and a gentleman's interest magazine containing suggestive photos of Sheilas, displaying their wrists, their ankles, and the lot. The sex continues. So the results, 18.3% response rate. Again, it delivers.
What it comes back to for me, though, is we're here to judge power and which medium is the most powerful. And for me, I think DM does a fabulous job in terms of influencing, but can it influence people on a mass scale?
I think we're all convinced that direct mail's got a really good role when it's targeted, when it's addressed mail and you get it and it's to the right person. It can be effective, it can be cost efficient for the client. But is it powerful, as Gus said? Does it have that ability to build a brand and a new brand? I'm not sure.
I thought yesterday Jonathan Hopkins, he made an observation which you picked up on at the start about your sort of totally gratuitous use of the word sex. And I thought it was just wonderful how you then sort of took that tangent an even stage further, absolutely, without any total relevance I could see. Look, I thought what you did today and what you did yesterday was great in terms of using case studies to try and prove the commercial outcomes, if you like. But, I mean, I suppose just sort of like intuitively, when I think about the power of cinema versus a bit of unwanted paper that sort of turns up on my doorstep, I can't help but think that sort of direct mail is probably the parasitic medium.
The winner is cinema.